Beyoncé is a force to be reckoned with. Her talent, her ambition, and her cultural impact are undeniable. But like any public figure, she is not immune to criticism. By examining the dark side of Beyoncé, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of fame, the nuances of cultural appropriation, and the challenges of navigating a world that demands both perfection and authenticity. Love her or hate her, Beyoncé's impact will be felt for generations to come, and we should be cognizant of the full impact of such an icon. This isn't about canceling Beyoncé or diminishing her achievements. It's about engaging in critical dialogue, holding our idols accountable, and recognizing that even the brightest stars can cast shadows. What do you think about the points we mentioned? What's your own perspective on the dark side of Beyoncé? Let us know in the comments below. Beyoncé's influence is undeniable. She inspires millions with her music, her fashion, and her message of self-love and empowerment. However, this immense influence also carries a responsibility, and her carefully cultivated persona can have both positive and negative effects. Unrealistic expectations. The constant portrayal of perfection can create unrealistic expectations for fans, particularly young women. The pressure to emulate Beyoncé's beauty, success, and flawless image can lead to feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. The commodification of feminism. The term feminism has become increasingly mainstream, and Beyoncé has played a role in popularizing the concept. However, some critics argue that her brand of feminism is often commodified and diluted, focusing more on individual empowerment and self-promotion than on systemic change and social justice. The power of representation. Despite the criticisms, it's important to acknowledge the positive impact of Beyoncé's representation of Black women in mainstream media. She provides a powerful role model for young Black girls, showing them that they can be successful, confident, and beautiful. The ongoing conversation. The conversation surrounding Beyoncé's influence is complex and multifaceted. It's a conversation that requires critical thinking, nuanced understanding, and a willingness to engage with different perspectives. Her is a powerful cultural icon, but can also have undesirable influences that we should be aware of. Beyoncé has built a business empire. However, alongside her business acumen, some of her business practices have been challenged. Sweatshop allegations. Some of her businesses have been accused of benefiting from sweatshop conditions. For instance, her clothing line Ivy Park has faced accusations after reports emerged alleging that the workers from Sri Lanka that were responsible for the clothing line were paid as little as $6.17 per day. Allegations of underpaying. In 2009, Beyoncé faced public scrutiny when she was accused of underpaying and mistreating her backup dancers during her I Am World Tour. Several dancers alleged that they were paid significantly less than promised, subjected to long hours and grueling rehearsals, and denied proper compensation for overtime and injuries. While Beyoncé and her representatives never directly addressed these specific allegations, the controversy sparked a broader discussion about fair labor practices and treatment of performers in the entertainment industry. Capitalism and contradiction. Beyoncé has often incorporated themes of feminism, Black empowerment, and social justice into her music and performances. However, some critics argue that her embrace of capitalism and consumerism undermines these messages. They point to her endorsement deals with major corporations and her promotion of luxury goods as examples of how her activism is ultimately compromised by her pursuit of profit. The ethics of consumption. Ultimately, the criticism of Beyoncé's business practices raises broader questions about the ethics of consumption and the responsibility of artists who profit from selling products to their fans. How can we reconcile the desire for empowerment and social change with the realities of a capitalist system that often perpetuates inequality? Beyoncé is renowned for her meticulous control over her image. Every photograph, every performance, every interview is carefully curated and strategically managed. While this level of control has undeniably contributed to her success, it has also drawn criticism for creating an unattainable standard of perfection and for potentially masking a more authentic self. Strict photo and video policies. Beyoncé's team is known for enforcing strict photo and video policies at her concerts and events. Professional photographers are often limited in the number of shots they can take, and unauthorized recordings are actively discouraged. This control extends to social media, where fans are sometimes asked to remove unflattering images. Allegations of editing and manipulation. There have been accusations of photo editing and digital manipulation to enhance her appearance. While many celebrities utilize these techniques, the extent to which Beyoncé's image is altered has been a subject of debate. Critics argue that this contributes to unrealistic beauty standards and can be detrimental to young women who aspire to emulate her. The Beehive and online defense. Beyoncé's fiercely loyal fanbase, known as the Beehive, plays a significant role in defending her image online. While their dedication is admirable, some critics argue that their aggressive defense of Beyoncé can stifle legitimate criticism and create a climate of fear where dissenting opinions are quickly silenced. The illusion of authenticity. The constant curation of her image raises questions about authenticity. Is the Beyoncé we see on stage and in magazines the real Beyoncé, or is it a carefully constructed persona designed for public consumption? While it's understandable that she wants to protect her privacy, the lack of transparency can create a disconnect with fans who yearn for a more genuine connection. One of the most recurring criticisms leveled against Beyoncé centers around accusations of cultural appropriation. Appropriation, in this context, refers to the adoption or use of elements of a minority culture by members of the dominant culture, often without understanding or respecting their original meaning and significance. Throughout her career, Beyoncé has drawn inspiration from various cultures, particularly Black culture and other marginalized communities. While some celebrate this as a form of appreciation and cross-cultural exchange, others argue that it crosses the line into appropriation, especially when done without proper attribution or acknowledgement of its historical context. Specific examples: Formation and Southern Black culture. The music video for Formation was widely praised for its celebration of Southern Black culture, specifically New Orleans, and its rich traditions, which include bounce music. However, critics argued that it also borrowed heavily from the sissy bounce scene, a subculture within the Black LGBTQ+ community, without giving proper credit or recognition to its queer origins. Some went further to say that bounce music's origins were not exclusively African American, and in some form exist in African countries, such as Ghana. Hairstyles and adornments. Beyoncé has been criticized for wearing hairstyles and adornments historically associated with Black culture, such as braids, cornrows, and head wraps, while some people say, simultaneously benefiting from a beauty industry that often marginalizes Black women with similar styles. This criticism often points to the double standard where Black women are often deemed unprofessional for wearing these styles, while Beyoncé is praised for her bold and fashion-forward choices. Religious references. In some performances, Beyoncé has incorporated imagery and symbolism from various religious traditions. Some interpret this as artistic expression, while others view it as disrespectful or insensitive, particularly when these symbols are used without a deep understanding of their spiritual meaning. For example, some have criticized the use of imagery often associated with Ashen, some saying the portrayal was inaccurate, appropriative, and offensive. South African visual album Black is King. Some felt that while it was good for representation, it misrepresented the culture, history, and tradition of some South African tribes. The argument for appreciation. It's important to acknowledge the counter-argument that Beyoncé uses her platform to showcase and celebrate diverse cultures, often highlighting talented artists and creators from these communities. Her work can introduce these cultures to a wider audience, sparking interest and promoting understanding. Supporters also argue that as a Black woman, Beyoncé is inherently part of the culture she draws inspiration from, and her use of these elements is an act of reclaiming and celebrating her heritage. The nuance of the debate. The line between appreciation and appropriation is often blurry and depends heavily on context, intent, and power dynamics. It's crucial to consider whether the artist is genuinely engaging with and respecting the culture, or simply using it as a superficial aesthetic. Are they giving credit where it's due? Are they contributing to the erasure or misrepresentation of the culture? These are important questions to consider when evaluating accusations of cultural appropriation. Beyoncé. The name alone conjures images of captivating performances, undeniable talent, and cultural impact. She's a global icon, a symbol of female empowerment, and a savvy businesswoman. But behind the shimmering facade of Queen Bey there exists a more complex narrative. A narrative punctuated by criticisms, controversies, and questions that linger even as she continues to reign supreme. This isn't a takedown, it's an exploration. It's about examining the criticisms leveled against her, understanding the context behind them, and acknowledging that even the most celebrated figures are subject to scrutiny. We'll delve into accusations of cultural appropriation, explore the intensity of her image control, examine claims about her business practices, and discuss the impact of her carefully curated persona. Prepare to confront some uncomfortable truths as we explore the shadows surrounding one of the world's biggest stars.